Good evening, I'm Jose Cardenas. There's a new initiative helping facilitate school records for students returning to Mexico. Plus, get to know the winner of the 2013 Boys and Girls Club's State Youth of the Year Award. And we'll tell you where you can listen and meet young musicians who create music with instruments made out of trash. All this coming up next on Horizonte.
Funding for Horizonte is made possible by contributions by the Friends of Eight, members of your Arizona PBS station.
Thank you for joining us. There is a new initiative led by the Arizona-Mexico Commission to assist immigrant students who have gone to Arizona schools and to help them in their return to Mexico. The goal is to simplify the process for Arizona and Sonora students by validating some records electronically. Joining me to talk about this initiative is Ralph Romero, Deputy Associate Superintendent for the Arizona Department of Education. Ralph, welcome to Horizonte. You've been here before. This is an initiative of the Commission. You chair the Education Committee.
That's
is that
correct.
right?
That's correct.
Give us the background for this process and why it was something that needed to be fixed.
This issue came up about 5 years ago, 6, 7 years ago, actually about 5 years ago. The problem that was identified is that students, when they leave Arizona schools or schools in the United States in general, and they arrive in schools in Mexico, Mexican schools require that the records contain an apostilla, which is in effect a notarized statement from the state indicating that those records are authentic. That requirement is part of the Hague Agreement that was signed in 1961.
So it's an international treaty.
It's an international agreement. The problem is that many students that leave Arizona and go back to Sonora or other states in the United States and go back to Mexico, many times leave, don't know about the requirement for the apostilla. They arrive in a Mexican school and they are not admitted, especially if they're going into a preparatoria. Preparatoria in Mexico is considered the first 3 years of higher education.
It's like a prep school here.
Actually, it's 10th, 11th, and 12th, and that's where the problem existed. So many students that arrived in Sonora schools, which is our neighbor to the south, and other states, were not allowed in school because they did not have their records apostillaed.
And just to be clear, an apostilla is a very formal diplomatic process for certification of records as authentic.
That's correct. The entity in the states that gives the apostilla is the Secretary of State's office for every state. So a student literally needs to get the record from the school, take it to the Secretary of State's office, and then get an apostilla fixed before they leave the state. When they arrive in a school, they will ask for the record with the apostilla. If there's no apostilla, they will not be enrolled in school.
And so the process, which would take some time even if they were here, becomes almost impossible when they're back in Mexico and have no way, as many of them wouldn't, to get back over here to pursue the certification.
That's correct, and that's what the problem was then and currently is, that many students actually gave up. They dropped out of school because they were not able to get their records in time for them to register for that current year. And obviously, once you lose 1 year, they potentially lost out on schooling in general.
Give us a sense for the magnitude of the problem. Now, I know that it was with the advent of the economic downturn and also SB 1070, we had a lot of families leaving Arizona, some of them going back to Mexico. But specifically state of Sonora, how many kids are we talking about?
State of Sonora calculate, or they believe that there's about 10,000 students from Arizona that returned to Sonora over the past 5 years.
And many of these would be students facing this precise difficulty.
Exactly. Especially those kids that were going from high school into preparatoria.
Let's talk about the solution that your committee and others have worked on.
What we did after sitting down and discussing the issue, both educators from Sonora and Arizona, and discussing the issues with the U.S. Department of Education in Washington and in Mexico City, we discovered that there was language in the Hague Agreement that basically gave the states the authority to implement an alternative system to the apostille. At that time, the problem was getting Mexico to agree to do that, and to some extent, the United States government also to agree to that because of the FERPA requirements, which are the Federal Responsibility and Privacy Act, which controls the confidentiality of records.
Of student records.
Student records. Once we got the two governments, federal governments, to agree, which was just a few months ago, we were able then to put together a team to develop an electronic transfer system, which basically will allow a student to request a record from the Secretaría de Educación y Cultura en Hermosillo. The Secretaría de Educación y Cultura en Hermosillo will then make an electronic request of the Arizona Department of Education. The Arizona Department of Education will make an electronic request of the appropriate school in Arizona, and then the record will follow by the same route.
Now that's when it's all set up.
Correct.
But you're starting with a pilot program. Why don't you describe that for us?
Yes. We decided that we would pilot this program for no more than 6 months because this is a first. This is the first program process in the United States. We wanted to make sure we did not jeopardize the confidentiality of student records, both in this state and across the country, by releasing a process that had not been tested.
So how are you going to do that?
We have a high school, which here in Arizona, Yuma High School, which has agreed to pilot this program for us in conjunction with the Secretaría de Educación y Cultura en Hermosillo. We will pilot the system. We will have individuals that need these records go to Sonora, make the request. We will then make the request if their origin is Yuma, make the request of Yuma High School, and see how this process works out.
And how are you making it known to people? And I assume in some respects it's self-executing because somebody goes to school in Mexico and they're told you need this, and that hopefully the people there will know to make the request of the schools in Arizona.
We will be informing the schools in the state to ensure that students and parents who come in requesting their records for transfer down into Sonora, that they be made aware of this new process. We also intend to engage the Mexican consulate to make sure that they know, so that they can notify parents and students that come to their office for this type of information. And at the same time, also Sonora is doing the same thing. They're going to their schools and notifying them of this new process.
So there's an outreach process.
Absolutely.
We're almost out of time. When does this all kick off?
This will kick off soon after the beginning of the school year. I would say this will kick off probably within the next month.
And then hopefully within, about a year it'll be statewide?
No, I would think that within 6 months we should be in a position to determine if there are any problems with the system. And if there are none, then we will implement it statewide. And at the same token, we'll release it to other states in the country that want to do the same thing. And there's a lot of interest throughout the country.
I'm sure there is. Ralph, thanks for joining us on Horizonte.
You bet. Thanks for having me.
To find out more information about what's on Horizonte, go to azpbs.org and click on the Horizonte tab at the top of the screen. There you can access many features to become a more informed Horizonte viewer. Watch interviews by clicking on the video button or by scrolling down to the bottom of the page for the most recent segments. Learn about more specific topics like arts and culture and immigration. You can also find out what's on Horizonte for the upcoming week. If you would like an RSS feed, a podcast, or you want to buy a video, that's all on our website too. Other features include our collection of website links and a special page for educators. While you're there, show your support for Horizonte with just one click. Discover all that's on Horizonte. Visit azpbs.org. Horizonte today.
Get the inside scoop on what's happening at Arizona PBS. Become an 8 Insider. You'll receive weekly updates on the most anticipated upcoming programs and events. Get the 8 Insider delivered to your email inbox. Visit azpbs.org to sign up today.
The Arizona Alliance of Boys and Girls Clubs named Joanna Lopez the 2013 State Youth of the Year. She was chosen from among 10 candidates from across the state. Joanna just returned from the regional competition in California. Join me now to talk more about this special award is Joanna Lopez. Also here is Bridget McDonald, Vice President of Club Operations for the Boys and Girls Clubs of Metro Phoenix. Joanna, first, congratulations on your success. want to talk to you about your background and what led you to pursue this. But before we do that, Bridget, give us some background about the award itself, how it came to be and what the process is.
Absolutely. The Youth of the Year program really was designed to recognize the outstanding young people that go through Boys and Girls Club programs, that take advantage of opportunities, that use the resources that we have to kind of move themselves along. It could be longevity in a program. It could be their commitment to their community. It's some of what they do with their home and family. It's their school. It's their community service. It's their moral values, really. And all those things put together really create this award that recognizes a child that just has the highest of standards in those areas.
How many years has it been in effect?
I believe, well, Boys and Girls Clubs has been in existence over 100 years, and I believe the first Boy of the Year was probably in the mid-30s, maybe 40s. And it's been ongoing ever since. But with our organization, you know, in 1946, so we've always had someone represent.
Well, and you're too young to have been involved in all those years, but you've been at it for 20 plus years, is that right?
I have.
So this particular process, this particular nomination, it comes from the individual club. They decide who they want to support.
Exactly. There are 12 branches at Boys and Girls Clubs in Metro Phoenix, and each one of those 12 sites recognizes one outstanding teenager, puts them all into the group, and they all vie for the title of Youth of the Year for Metro Phoenix. Now, they're already all winners, so that's just a representative. We don't want to have winners here. They're all winners. But they do. They spend 4 months getting ready. So that means they have training in Toastmasters, so they get some speaker training. They get to participate in some team building. They do some storytelling because they're virtually telling their stories. They're out there explaining what it means to be a Boys and Girls Club member, what the Boys and Girls Club has done for their lives, how they've overcome obstacles, some of those kind of things. So they get all this training to be able to stand up there and present their stories and represent their clubs as they're vying for this title of Youth of the Year.
Now, Joanna, in your nomination, which I understand your club wrote, it does talk about one of those obstacles that Bridget was referring to, being the traditional Mexican culture and dealing with the fact that your parents had a certain view, anyway, of what a young woman should be, what her aspirations should be, and you didn't even tell them that you'd been admitted to 6 colleges.
Yes. My culture, as well as my family expectations, wanted me to have a family when I was 16, already had that support going on while being married, and the man going out and financially supporting us. And I didn't want that. I didn't feel like that was specifically for me. Well, I do respect my family and what they believe in. I preferred in showing them instead of just running away and doing what I wanted. I prefer to demonstrate to them that piece of my life will come later on, but I first want to develop myself intellectually and in career-based.
And part of the inspiration for you doing that was your involvement in Boys and Girls Clubs.
Yes.
How so?
Yes. The Boys and Girls Club really allowed me to find role models. The females really demonstrated that hardworking women are respected as both parents and professionals. And the males really showed me that my gender does not limit my capabilities. And it was the first place where I found that it wasn't just expected for me to become a housewife, but it was expected of me to become what I wanted. And I had all the keys available for me to do so.
Well, the nomination form I wrote indicates that you are a very remarkable young woman. Hundreds of hours of volunteer activity. Tell us about that.
Yes, I was always very involved in my community. I felt that the kids in my community should really get a better influence in educational purposes. So I started with after the Bell program that was allowed in my area in school, and I would go back into it, and I volunteered with the teachers. I volunteer and mentor with reading and English, and as well as math. And not only did I get a base of what a teacher does, but I also got a base of what career purpose I wanted to pursue.
Now, Bridget, how does Boys and Girls Club take advantage of this remarkable talent? Is it like some other contest where the winner then becomes almost an ambassador for the program? They go and they meet with others and inspire them in a similar way? Really,
that is almost the exact purpose. They become a spokesperson for Boys and Girls Club and the opportunities that can be found there to take, you know, the remarkable children even further down the path to where they want to go. The program overall really does help develop, and the Youth of the Year piece is important, but Joanna was seen as someone with so much potential in the first place, and just providing her some of those tools that she talks about, somebody that said to her she could do this, somebody that said her dreams were valid and that education was a possibility, those are the things that really made a difference in what the Boys and Girls Club can provide. But it is an ambassadorship, if you will. As they get further down the road in the competition, she went from the local competition to the state competition, where she competed with representatives from the organizations across the state. We have 23 of them. They all are eligible to send a Joanna to that competition. So she won at that level, and then for Boys and Girls Clubs of America, they participate in a regional competition, which is where we went last week in Huntington, California. And there are 9 states across the Pacific region, the western part of the United States, so she competed with the winners at those 9 states. That's culled down then to 5 representatives and 1 military representative for Boys and Girls Clubs.
And that's all still on.
And
ongoing.
that's still coming. Yes.
Joanna, among the people you convinced apparently that this is something that you could do were your own parents, and
Yes.
and I understand you will be going to college. Tell us about your future aspirations in terms of the areas you want to focus on, and we'll wrap up the interview with that.
Well, this upcoming fall, I plan to attend Grand Canyon University as an honors college student. I plan to obtain a bachelor's degree in forensic science and a double minors in communication and linguistics, with the goal of one day joining the FBI.
Well, best of luck to you. I'm sure based
Thank you.
upon everything we've seen, you'll have no trouble getting there. Bridget, thanks for joining us
Absolutely.
on Horizonte. Paraguay's Recycled Orchestra is set to make its U.S. debut at the Musical Instrument Museum, also known as the MIM, next month. We'll talk to the MIM's curator for Latin America and the Caribbean in a moment. But first, here is a clip from the documentary Landfill Harmonic, which is about Paraguay's Recycled Orchestra.
Mi nombre es Ada Maribel Ríos Bogado, tengo 13 años y toco el violín.
Me llamo Juan Manuel Chávez, más conocido como Baby, tengo 19 años y toco el cello. Este cello está hecho de una lata de aceite, la madera tirada en la basura y las clavijas son de una vieja cuchara para golpear la carne y para hacer el ñoquis. Y suena así.
Una comunidad como Caldeura no es un lugar para tener un violín. De hecho, un violín cuesta más que su casa.
En ese grupo acá mismo encontramos el colador de violín. Y de ese empezamos los instrumentos reciclados.
Joining me now is Dr. Daniel Piper, MIM's curator for Latin America and the Caribbean. Dr. Piper, welcome to Horizonte.
Thank you.
This is a remarkable story, one that we've covered recently when we had the person who's responsible for making the documentary that will be released next year. And in fact, we use that same teaser. The MIM's interest in this started with bringing those instruments and making them part of your exhibition.
That's correct, because we saw this story and the instruments as really resonating with our mission. We're a global music museum that covers music from every part of the world, all different stratas of society, both folk music as well as art music. And this particular story and these instruments made from recycled materials from the landfill, actually we see in other parts of the museum other instruments made from recycled materials. We celebrate the steel pan from Trinidad, for example, that was made from 55-gallon oil containers back starting in the 1930s. We have a castor oil guitar in our South Africa exhibit, and then various other kind of stories like this. But this one is very unique because the instruments, violins and cellos and flutes, we associate with, elite Western culture and centuries of, refining and making these instruments of classical music. And here, they're made from the landfill trash in order to benefit these children that didn't have opportunity to make music.
We'll be running some pictures of some of these instruments as we're talking. In the teaser, one of the people talking said that the violins, a real violin, would be the cost of a house there, and now you have them going out and making these things out of trash.
That's right. I mean, many of these are, they're from a shanty town. There's a lot. This is common in Latin America. You have migration from rural sectors, into the city, and there's the infrastructure is not able to support this population. Many people that don't have work, don't have access to clean water or health care, and are basically kind of living on the edge in these shanty towns. So yeah, I mean, a violin, really is something you would never find in Cateura.
Now, the exhibit itself has been on display for some time at the museum, and it will continue to be there for some time to come. How did you come about to decide that you were going to bring the musicians themselves?
Sure. Well, we saw this as an opportunity because we noticed there being such a tremendous public interest in this story. I mean, as soon as the documentary teaser came out, as soon as we started talking about this story, outside of Paraguay, people were sending emails, people were sharing this really nationally and internationally. It just really resonated with a lot of people. So this was an opportunity to, as we were sitting down with the documentary team as well, we thought, wouldn't it be wonderful if these children could come and see their own exhibit, see how their work is being honored, at a major institution in the United States, and then also to give them an opportunity to interact with the Phoenix public, perform, also to work with local students of the same age. In this case, we were partnering with the Arizona School for the Arts, also the Herrera Elementary School, and through that sort of cultural exchange, we've developed a really powerful program with Fabio Chavez, the director of the orchestra.
And when is this all going to take place?
So this will start on Wednesday, August 7th with a concert, and then the programs run through Saturday, August 10th. And
the concert's at the MIM itself. I'm not sure a lot of people realize that in addition to being a museum, the MIM has some performance space.
We have a wonderful 300-seat MIM theater. We have concerts with national, international artists every week, and the acoustics there are remarkable. So it's an opportunity for a real, intimate experience with the Recycled Orchestra when they're there.
Now you have a lot of things that you do to reach out to the community. One of them, as I understand, is Family Day. Tell us about that.
Family Day is a great opportunity here because, so this is going to be an all-day event on Saturday in which we will have a couple opportunities for the Recycled Orchestra. We'll perform, demonstrate their instruments, talk about this innovative work. We also have a local artist, Joe Willie Smith, who makes sound sculptures from materials that are recycled and repurposed, and performs and creates these installations. And so the public can actually, one of his pieces will be able to play that installation. We also have instrument making crafts for the public all day, and an exhibit dedication in which I and the director of the orchestra from Paraguay will talk and show the exhibit to the public and honor these children, in their first U.S. visit. This is the first time they'll be here in the United States.
Now, you made some reference to collaborations with local schools, the Arizona School for the Arts, Herrera School as well. What are they actually going to be doing? As I understand, one of the things they're going to do is go with their counterparts in Paraguay to our own landfill here in Phoenix.
Yeah, exactly. This was part of the idea because, of course, the idea of what we do with our trash and recycling that process is very different in Latin American countries than it is in the United States, and Phoenix in particular. So both the Paraguay kids and the Arizona School for the Arts kids will start by getting a tour of the North transfer station through the Phoenix Department of Public Works. And then from there, after seeing that experience, we'll go and have a workshop where they will be making instruments from recycled materials that they have collected, and also that our local artist Joe Willie Smith has provided, and also materials from Phoenix Department of Public Works.
And then, as I understand it, at the concert itself, the students from the School for the Arts will be performing at least for a couple of songs.
Exactly. Coming out of this experience of working together, they will have one or two pieces of repertoire on Friday and Saturday night, and they'll be asked to come up on stage and join the kids from Paraguay.
Now, how can people get more information about the visit and ways that they might participate, and again, particularly for Family Day?
Sure. They should visit www.mim.org. On our website, we have a landing page with information about all the programs, and also our box office is open for concert ticket sales. We still have a couple hundred tickets for our Wednesday night concert as well.
And I'm sure it'll be a sellout. These kids are fantastic. Thanks so much for joining us to talk about it.
Thank you.
That's our show for tonight. From all of us here at Horizonte, I'm Jose Cardenas. Have a good evening.
Funding for Horizonte is made possible by contributions by the Friends of 8, members of your Arizona PBS station.